In this video, we'll talk about what credit notes are and how those can be managed through OfficeRnD. Let's start by explaining when you need to issue a credit note. Sometimes, you need to charge less than the amount of an already issued invoice. This usually happens to correct a mistake, such as when an invoice amount is overstated, or the correct discount rate is not applied, and so on. In OfficeRnD, you can achieve this using a credit note. In order for a credit note to take effect, you have to allocate it to an existing invoice. There are two ways you can do that. One, open an invoice, create a credit note, and it will automatically get allocated to the open invoice. Or two, create a credit note, go to an invoice, and allocate it manually. Let's start with the first option, allocate a credit note to an invoice directly. To do this, open up an existing invoice and click the yellow Credit Note button on the top right. A dialog will appear with all items already present in the invoice. This way, you can select which items you would like to allocate a credit for. You can check and uncheck items you would like to include or exclude. Click Add, and it will automatically get allocated to the invoice. Please note that you can only issue one credit note per invoice. If you try to issue more than one credit note per invoice, the system will display an error that some of the fees are either not paid or not invoiced. The other way of allocating a credit note is by following the manual approach. It's important to keep in mind that this type of allocation only works for invoices that haven't been paid. If an invoice has already been paid, the way to credit note it is by following the steps we mentioned a few moments ago. Go to Billing, Invoices, and click the blue Add Credit Note button in the top corner. A dialog similar to the invoice dialog will pop up where you can select a company or an individual member, an issue date, and add items and amounts which will be deducted from the invoice to which the credit note will be allocated. Once you click Add, or Add and Send, you will have a record similar to the following in the invoices list. You have now successfully created a credit note. In order for it to actually take effect, you will have to allocate it to an invoice. To do that, open the newly created credit note. Under Allocations, click the Allocate Credit button. In the dialog, select an invoice to which this credit should be allocated. Click Add to allocate the credit and charge the customer with the appropriate decreased amount. And this concludes our video on how you can use and issue credit notes in OfficeRnD. If you have any questions regarding this or the other OfficeRnD functionalities, make sure to visit our knowledge base at help.officernd.com or email us at support@officernd.com for further assistance.